Did you guys know that the World's Brewers Cup is happening right now? Well, I didn't, and I've been trying to join this for a very long time. I looked all over, couldn't find any information on it. Maybe I don't know where to look. But anyways, if I were to join it, I thought I would kind of share with you guys kind of my thought process and a technique that I would use to compete in that tournament. So to start off, there's just a couple of items that we need. I'm going to use a big grinder to kind of grind all my beans a little bit more coarse. And then I'm going to use this, which is just a casual tea strainer, to remove all the microfines off the coffees. And then I'm going to grind finer with a hand grinder. The reason I use a hand grinder to grind finer is because if I were to put it through like my niche, a lot of the beans don't actually go through. They kind of get stuck up there. It's just a hassle for that. Whereas with a hand grinder, because there's no motor, nothing gets clogged, nothing gets stuck. I can grind and make sure everything has. The reason why I do a double grind is because I want to use finer grinds. I actually use grind size equivalent to what I would use in an espresso shot, which is extremely fine. But I do use it for pour over, at the high level at least. I think that a finer grind size allows me to extract things from much earlier time, extracts more evenly. And so that's why I opted for, I just think it's kind of cool to remove the microfines in between so I don't have any clogging. I also don't believe that the microfines taste very good. I've made this video a lot of times. I'm saving up more grinds to actually do a full taste of the microfines with you guys, but I'm very adamant on that this doesn't taste good. So let's get right into the brew itself. Grinds differently. It's actually even a different color. And to me, I don't think it has a very good taste to it. So I use a tea strainer, and then I just use a siphon paddle to kind of just press and rub it against the tea strainer. Now I started with 26 grams of beans. Let's see how much we've lost. I have about 4 grams here that I think is not as tasty. And we have 22 grams of beans left. The grind size is also now much more consistent. And that's what we're looking for. We're looking for consistent grind size. This stuff tends to clog up the filters. That's why I want to remove it. And now what we're going to do is we're going to grind it a second time with a hand grinder. Wait, I didn't finish grinding everything. That's more like it. 22 grams of beans, because we're going to be brewing with everything. A little bit of a droplet pour right here. Mind you, this is grind size you would use in an espresso shot. Watch for the crust to crack. We're going to go up, use a droplet pour to push all the floating stuff down. Okay, it looks like I don't need much more water since the grinds are so fine. So what we have here is quite muddy, but the interesting thing was it never really stopped. It never really clogged. That's a second pour of only 40 grams of water. And you can see this stream just doesn't stop. It's not like a droplet pour. It's a very, constant flow, just very slow. Okay, so this is day 2 of me filming this because yesterday my card bugged out. So bear with me, guys. I have random setup from me filming a shorts version of this. But yeah, I used a decaf. The decaf itself has been through a lot. It's been processed heavily, so it actually it tends to normally clog very easily, but because we remove the microfines, even though we use espresso grind size, we don't have that clogging issue. We're going to get a lot of the clarity. It's very sweet. It's a little too heavy, and I think that's because I always forget that because we remove 20% of the the weight in microfines, even though it's been removed, it doesn't lose flavor because I don't think that the microfines had good flavors in the first place. And so what happens is a 1 to 15 without the microfines is really just like a 1 to 12 or something like that, because we should be including the weight of the microfines in the ratio. So it came out a little bit stronger than I expected, but it's still a great coffee. So I think that's something that's interesting about this. We can have a really rich coffee, no clogging, just pure flavors, the best flavors. But yeah, if I were to compete, this is kind of a recipe I would use. Obviously, I would definitely be using nicer beans in a World's Brew Cup. I don't think you would use a decaf where a lot of the flavors have been removed, but I think playing around with this method to push for the best clarity in coffee is the right way to go. Would I do this on a daily basis? Absolutely not. I don't think it's worth the time. I do think if you want to have the best cup of coffee, this is probably my best understanding of it. I can go into detail about how I pour in the next video, because I think there's a lot of like changes in my thought process with how I pour. I like to start really low now, and then I actually go up to a droplet pour in the middle. And then kind of come back down. So I'll talk about that in the next video. But yeah, thanks for watching, guys. I know I'm wearing something different, but it is what it is. Cards bug out. Happy brewing, guys. So I'll catch you guys in the next one. Bye.